Grand Risings. Today is Friday, December 31st, and this is just a Kind of Wisdom podcast. Today, my lovelies, is the last day of the Gregorian calendar, and tomorrow is January 1st, which is the New Year's that is celebrated by a lot of people on this planet. But in order for there to be a new year, changes have to be made within self. And the reason why changes aren't made because we aren't consistent with what we want and truly desire for ourselves. Today, my lovelies, on this fabulous Friday, I want you to realize how fabulous you are. And I want you to start acknowledging your worth and your decisions that you make in regards to you. I know that there was a time in my life where I didn't want what's best for me. I wanted what was best for everybody else. And then when what's best for me did not occur, I felt really sad. I felt really down. And I didn't understand why I was going through what I was going through. I did not realize that the choices and decisions that I made in reference to myself were detrimental to me. I didn't know how to honor me. I wasn't taught how to honor me. And this was something that I had to learn on my own. Not everybody is given the tools necessary in order to survive. But yet, as we obtain these tools and add them to our toolbox, we share them with others and show them how to use them and how to heal from wounds that were inflicted upon us. Life's journey doesn't come with a handbook that everyone has, and that's why we're here to help one another figure things out and usher one another along. So I'm thankful that I have people in my life such as Bigsburg, who provides daily motivation that even when I'm facing dark times, I'm able to read his posts and provide motivation. And there are so many other people that pour into you on a day-to-day basis. How often do you acknowledge the people who have helped you? A lot of times we tend to ignore the people who pour the most into the world because we don't see them as needing it. Like, well, that person helped me. What can I do to help them? We have to get out of that mindset. No man is an island. We all need one another. And one of the things that I had to learn how to do was to accept help when it was offered, and you know how I got over that? It was the way that I was thinking about it, right? Okay, so someone told me that I was trying to accept a gift, and someone said to me, do you know how good it feels when you give people gifts? I was like, yes, it makes me feel nice and warm on the inside. And they said, do you know by you rejecting this gift, you're depriving others of that same sensation? I didn't realize how selfish I was being by rejecting gifts that was being offered to me. And once I realized that, I had to make a shift. And once I made that shift, I realized that, wow, that was something I really did want, but it was suppressed, and I enjoyed the reciprocity, I enjoyed the reciprocity more than the draining, than the one-sided interactions that it shifted me internally. Now, if the relationship wasn't reciprocal, I couldn't thrive there. I was taught to stand in toxicity, to live in it, and it wasn't on purpose because toxicity is usually looked at as being normal in situations. Growing up in a toxic environment, I gained tools to reduce toxicity, and that's what I share with my clients. For years, I didn't even know I was living amongst toxicity. It's like you have like that Stockholm effect. And the Stockholm effect is when you, like, say if someone kidnapped you and you start looking favorably at the kidnappers. You don't see the wrong in their behavior. You start empathizing with them. And that's what Stockholm Syndrome is. And that's what we tend to do. When you are raised in a toxic environment, toxicity is all you know. That is why I'm very compassionate with all people. I don't judge people because no one knows the journey of the next man. And, well, you can know, but on exception, without any digging, you don't know the next man's story. And so to condemn somebody for a life that you didn't even lead is not ideal. This year was a rough year for me, and I'm so thankful for those of my friends that was there for me and that helped me through the trials and tribulations of this year, because they know that it was really, really rough, and I had a rough time. However, I didn't allow the rough time that I was going through to seep into what I do for you guys every day. Because the same motivation that I provide for you also is needed for me as well. I go back and I read my podcast and I listen to it, and it provides me with the same level of inspiration. It's for all of us. I don't ever want anyone to think that I look at myself as above life lessons and anything. I will help facilitate you through those lessons and give you the tools that I knew that was helpful for me when I was going through my trials and tribulations. Yet I've learned to withhold judgment. Like, that was like one of the hardest lessons that I had to embrace. To not be so judgmental, because in a toxic environment that I was reared in, to be judgmental was law. Like, you condemn people before they even had a trial. And when you realize the toxicity that you were raised in, you can start removing it from your life. It wasn't easy at first, to feel what I've been going through and not have the answers and not know which way to go. But as soon as I found that blueprint, I stored it away and decided to share it with the rest of you guys. Because I know how much I needed it. And to whom much is given, much is required. And I'm willing to give back as much as that was given to me. This spiritual journey has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. Why? Because it was something that I did for me and for myself. Right? I cut out the outside chatter. I didn't listen to what people was telling me. Why? Because my whole thing is, one thing that I was taught was not to put my trust into people. Right? There was a biblical text that said that. But it's not in a way to breed paranoia. It's to breed reality, right? We are all here trying to figure out this thing called life together, and yes, some people might have more clues than the other, but that doesn't mean we have the answers. And when you put all of your stock into the next person and bring you answers, it's always going to be wrong. Why? Because a heart cell can't tell a thigh cell what to do. We're all individual cells in the body with individual functions. That's why it's important for you to find yours. When you find yours, then we can really solve this puzzle that we're all stuck in, right? But we can't do it until we have gathered all of the information. And in order to gather that much information, you're going to need a lot of people, right? And that's what you see. All of these people that is on this planet are here to help support you. Whether they're going to bring negative experiences in your life or whether they bring positive experiences into your life. Regardless, they are all here to help and support you. And because you grow from those experiences, the positive and the negative. That's why you should not be afraid to tell your story, right? Because your achievements And your failures are all essential information to the next person that's on the journey, right? We can help each other move along by first releasing judgment. That has to go. You cannot judge the next person as though you don't make mistakes and that you have all the answers. Even me and my clairvoyancy, don't have half of the answers. That's why there's others of us. There's more people on the planet with abilities because no man is an island. And that is what is trying to be reiterated in our head. We have to learn to come together. Man, woman, and child. Right now, there's a divide on this planet. And part of that divide comes through music. Every generation, they change the frequency of the music. And that creates a disconnect between parent and child. But it behooves us to bridge that connection, right? I listen to my children's music. I listen to my parents' music. I listen to my forefathers' music. I listen to it all. Why? Because all of those frequencies make up me. They make up who I am. And once you know who you are, you're able to move in a way that is conducive to your growth and development. If you don't know who you are, you're going to be walking around casting pearls before swine. And then by the time you get home, you're not going to have any riches. I've done that. I did not know my worth. I did not know who I was. And I even allowed myself to get auctioned off to the lowest bidder. Because I didn't know who I was. That's why it behooves, if you're a parent, instill a sense of self into your children, right? And if you don't have a sense of self, of course you can't instill that into your children. That's why I'm not judgmental for those who've gone before. We've all struggled. But once you figure out what was wrong and what was the missing pieces, you don't shame the person for not having those pieces. You work on those pieces that so you don't have to step in that ditch. You could jump over. However, if you are afraid of your journey and you are ashamed of your journey, you're going to be a detriment to everyone else because you're going to be so busy hiding that shame of your actions that you cannot help enlighten others because you're so ashamed that you fell in a ditch. Now you're going to allow everybody else to fall in a ditch. We have to get out of that mentality, right? And a lot of that is programming. Some of us were programmed to think that our actions tie directly into who we are. For example, if you made a